So I just want to try to share my experience of investment in Bangladesh. The first time we went there was 2011 with the reference and introduction by Mr. Felix Chang. He's been our long time friend. So one night he called me up, yeah, let's have dinner. So went out to dinner. And then he talked, now I have 2 factories in Bangladesh. Would you be interested to take a look? Oh, for sure. Because at that time, it was right on the spot that we started experiencing labor shortage in China. So it was not purely by the cost consideration. It's the continuous supply of labor. After the first time we went there, environment was a little bit difficult. But a few months later, we decided to start trying to take some land from BEPZA. And luckily, we got we got a few plots in Camilla, and we started our operation. And also, we first started our operation in the BEPZA provided fabricated buildings, which was a huge success for us. Because while we are building our own building, we could start training our management team, training our workers. So we started there with two office staff, 30 workers. But now we have operation of about 400,000 square meter of factory, 2,000 workers, and export is running very smoothly. So that's the good thing. So I also want to share the major reason we really decided to go is because relatively the foreign exchange is quite reasonable. So there are control on foreign exchange, but it's reasonable. Whenever we have profit, we have all the documentation proof. We never experience any problem of remitting our money out of the country. So this is very important for us. Whereas compared in China, it was not that smooth. Second reason is, of course, is the abundance of worker. So after the first visit, the major reason why we decided to go was we want to make sure that 20 years later, 25 years later, we still have the labor. We still have a young workforce for us. So I think after several visits, that was quite sure. The third reason, I think like other investors sharing, the third reason is really BEPZA. This is, in Hong Kong term, we're not trying to shoe shine, but in our own experience, it's really a great stepping stone for us. So it helped us to solve a lot of problems. So we also understand when we have friends who try to start their operation outside of BEPZA, there could be a lot other challenges and risk. So after sharing the reason of investment, so what happened in the last few years that we actually have the operation there? So a lot of people concerned about the efficiency of the workers. I can assure you that the workers' efficiency are no problem at all in all our experience. But the most important thing is we must conduct good training to the workers, good training to our management team. Without training, it could be difficult. Also, communication. So in the organization in Bangladesh, under our Human Resources Department, we have a few counselors. So the counselors, and also BEPZA has counselors also. They provide us a lot of support. So the counselors major function is to communicate with the workers and the floor management. And I think this is really important. Without the counselors, without building up the communication channels, it could be quite difficult to move the workforce. And then I would like to also share a little bit about challenges or for the future investors. There are a few things you have to watch out for. First of all, if you're considering to build your own building, the building cost, first of all, is not horrendous. Actually, in our experience, it was quite comparable to the building cost of China. So it's very reasonable. And some of the workmanship are really good too. But be careful about some of the standards. They may be different from China. And also, there are some earthquake areas in Bangladesh, so we must be careful about that. So, and second, really watch out to build the most stringent firefighting system in your factory. Don't cut any corners. This is very important. It's protection of your own property, protection of your workforce living there. Third is factory audit. So I think for those we operate in China, we're familiar with the international factory audits. But in Bangladesh, there are a couple of more stringent requirements. They're named the Alliance and the Accord audits. So they have a lot of stringent requirement in the building setup. For example, all the fire doors must be UL approved. So my advice is if you're really considering building a factory, you need to consult the local management people. Make sure that you start up with building your factory to the Alliance and Accord standard. Otherwise, afterwards, you try to fix it, it will cost you a lot more money. Another issue, of course, is about the supply chain and logistics. So, but I see that that's going to change because, for example, as the industry is growing, the export is growing, there are more vendors of going to Bangladesh as well. So, for example, shipping cartons, packaging material, all those in the early days we have to ship from China, but now we can start getting local sourcing. So that's a big help. That's going to improve a lot, I think, for the next 5 years, 10 years. The logistics sometimes could be headache because of port congestion, because of the road condition, traffic jam. So we have, please, if you're planning to go there, plan a little bit of slack time, and also find a very good custom broker and freight forwarder. So that will help a lot. Lastly, I would like to share one point. It's some of our friends asked me, oh, going to Bangladesh, so they have a lot of very low labor costs, abundance of labor. So you can move all your labor-intensive processes to Bangladesh and leave your new generation semi-automated, automated processes in China. In my experience, it's the contrary. Whenever we develop any new technology of manufacturing, we move to Bangladesh. I think that will be the major benefit to combine the new technology development in China and the workforce in Bangladesh. That will provide another 25 years, 50 years of very good operation in our industry. Thank you.